Oh, as it turns out, offline mode is a pain in the rear. There's just a lot more to it. So, okay, so what I was, without going back, I'm going to give you the very light 1,000-foot view of where I was, and a little bit more detail of where I am. Where I was when I first started trying to get offline mode working, I somehow split, and I was actually creating LightDB for the UI's objects that it's using and creating. But any sync data that needed to be pulled straight from the data was going into SQLite. Now, this is my misunderstanding not only of what AI was doing, but also my misunderstanding of how offline mode was even to work. As I had it, not being a game developer, just I hadn't ironed out all those things. And once you start seeing things come into play and you start looking at the code and you're like going, why is this pointing here and this pointing there? Why are we doing two things here? So restructure, throw a lot of that out. Well, actually, not all of it, because I was able to keep the SQLite stuff. But ultimately, what I needed to do was get rid of the LightDB stuff, which required some finagling of the C# Unity code and how the router was working. I have an API router that determines, the necessary calls to go to SQLite or go to MongoDB or the network. So it makes these gRPC calls to the network, and then it has to replace those calls with the equivalent of for local database usage for SQLite. And so I had to restructure, do a little bit of stuff, and then I realized during all that my code in Go was not compatible with offline mode because the Android SDK you can't compile the code Go mobile because it was using database for data imports for Mongo, which don't work in Android. So I had to I had to create a data layer. So all of my code goes through this data layer, and the data layer splits off to get what you need, either SQLite or Mongo database connections, and basically I had to recreate the types and such that are being used on each. But they're formatted and set up the same, so everything works. It just it splits off to the one that works for where you are. So I create the data layer, create all that, start working with it, and it's still not syncing. When I'm starting to do play mode, it's like all these errors, and it's not doing anything that's not going offline. I'm like, why is this not going offline? Well, it goes, it's using mock data. And I'm like, why is it using mock data? Use real data. You can't use real data. You can't do it. It's not okay. Apparently, you need to, in order to work in Unity or even on PC, you need to actually compile a different thing, a DLL, which is how it works in Windows. You use a DLL or an XE, but I think in this case we use a DLL. So I needed a restructure again. Well, this was a much lesser restructure. It was mostly just like getting rid of the mocks and making it so that it can go through the DLL and build the application using the DLLs for Windows and for Unity. And in theory, I also had to put in, some commands and some expectations for my AI coding to keep in mind that now we are developing with eye on both. So if there's ever a point where I have to rebuild the AR, which is the Android piece, we also want to build the DLL because those are going to both be required to be rebuilt at that point because it's going to have the same effects on both of them. And in order for me to be able to test how things are working, I need to work in Unity. Now, the problem is testing is a little bit trickier, right? Because now I've got essentially two different sync mechanisms going. Kind of. They're still going to SQLite. They're still using the same API router calls, but they're going to a different, they're going through a different file, DLL versus AAR. So once I make sure that everything's working and syncing and doing everything it should, in theory, it'll still work on the AAR, but I won't know until I deploy it to the AAR and run to the Android device. All of this came to light as I finally started getting builds onto the Android device. I was like, hey, this is cool, and it's working. But it wasn't working. I mean, it worked, but it only worked network-wise. And so I was trying to get the offline syncing to work so that it would go in and find, get data and be able to pull data in. So theoretically, I could like work on it from home here, build it up, get things working, get it onto my device, and then walk off and show people my device because it's now functioning on my device, has all the data it needs, and no longer needs to be online for most of the features. Yes, it would need to be online for some online features like multiplayer and anything that's going up against player data, but it could still theoretically do everything it's doing at home when I'm out showing it to people, giving them an idea of where it's headed, what it's doing, how it's functioning. I could even do maybe a video works on the phone and maybe even do some demoing out in the world. So for various reasons, publishers, Kickstarter, whatever I want to do, I could do that stuff at home, but still. That's where I'm going. That's where I'm trying to get it to the point. And finally, I got it all in. I got it building the DLL. Now it builds the Android and the Windows DLL at the same time as part of my startup processes. So I got a startup process that's going to copy the DLL and the AAR to Unity. So when Unity does its builds, whether it be Play Mode or PC or Android, and you might ask, what about iOS mobile? Which is I'm not talking about doing Mac. I'm talking about like iOS mobile, which is probably the same. I don't know. Are they the same OS? I don't know how they do. I don't know how Mac does their thing. I'm not a Mac guy. That's why it's on the back burner. I'm not. Once I get those two working, I will start looking at iOS. Sorry guys, if you're looking for this to work on your Mac device, that will come later when things work and everything's built. I'll like, okay, let's see about compiling this for iOS. But I am keeping the design plans in place to make sure that we're kind of like, we're not building away from iOS. In a lot of ways, it's just going to be another compile because I am building the infrastructure. We may have to create, I don't know, maybe a different data layer. I don't know, but that's going to be pretty basic, pretty straightforward. Most of those are just wrappers or, they're little more than interfaces to the data layer. So there's not a lot there. There's not a lot of coding in those data layers, but they just allow it to know, we're going to be talking to this application or that application. And supposedly, through my research, the technology stack I'm using works on all of them. So hopefully going to iOS won't be a big swing. It'll take a little time to make sure it works and validate, test, that stuff. And it'll, of course, have problems because anything you do in Unity has problems. There is no such thing as one thing that goes, oh, it works. No, it's not like that in Unity. But we are making great progress, I think. So I'm going to stop this and we're going to try and see how good we are. So I haven't done any logging in yet. I've been just kind of monitoring and checking my progress for things like, do we have offline mode available? Is it there? Is it able to find the database? Is the APK and everything, the DLL, all working? So theoretically, when I run this, we should kind of have an idea of what it's doing. It's like, it's going to look to see if the certain data exists. Now, I have a lot of messages coming up. As you can see here, it's 16 messages at this point. And then it's doing a check. It's doing a server health check. That's what you see, Service Health Manager. I don't know why we're getting a timeout error, which happens right here. It's the only bad thing that happens. It must have worked on the second try because it didn't fail a second time. So that's good, right? So then we're going to do an announcement board, which is basically going to do an authentication. So we do services healthy. We all worked. We're good. Initial health check compiles, check complete. We're all good. Activate panel called. Proceed. Performing app startup sync. Starting up Starting app, startup sync, default database. So far so good. Go mobile SDK with database. Initialize DB path, blah, 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 blah. So far. No, still got a problem. Mobile unavailable, routing to network. So this is still showing a problem. So we are not there yet. Now, let's go look in this plugins folder. This is where it's supposed to be, assets, plugins. Let's go see what we got in there. Assets, plugins. What is this going to be? x86-64? Yeah, it did not. Can I open this? Is this actually openable? Show and explore. Let's see if it's actually there, because sometimes things show. So we got a meta file and an H file. What did it say we had before? But only the H header got copied. Oh, nope. No. Same error. So you can see it did not copy. It's supposed to have another file in here. The DLL is not present. Kind of an important piece. So you can see that we're not getting it. So, but I did add parent over to Defender. Hopefully it will copy now. Somebody's whipping up something that smells good upstairs. I'm getting kind of hungry. I haven't eaten a ton today. I ran 5 miles. That always creates a little bit bigger appetite during the day. Don't want to overdo it because you eat a lot on your work. You can do a day where it burns a good amount of calories. That's what running will do. It'll make you hungrier, but it'll burn more calories. But then it makes you hungrier, so you end up eating more and kind of lose the point of burning the extra calories. So you got to watch yourself on high work days. Oh, you know what? I need to change my title. Let's change this title. We are not doing this AI slop nonsense. That was my complain day yesterday. Was that yesterday or the day before? I was going off. Yeah, it's what week is this? I think I'm probably week a gabillion. I don't know. It's been a while. Let's go back to month. Devlog month. Let's see. 12, 13. 14, 15, 16, 17. Month 17. I sometimes will change this month, day, week. It just depends on how much effort I want to find. I can't say day anymore. I totally lost track of the days. I was about 315, 310 in January, which theoretically I don't think is right because I'm almost positive I have worked on this game at least some amount. All but maybe 3 weeks worth of days. I mean, if you take out all the Saturdays, because, well, no, even then, I work on Saturdays. I just work after the Sabbath. I start working like 8, 9, 10 o'clock. And even then, most of the Saturdays. So to say that's, okay, let's give it, we'll say I did it. That's still only 52 days. It puts me at just around 308. And that's after a few extra months, right? And I was like, this is not right. I need to start counting weeks or months. So I just started counting what week I'm in since I started development. Day implied the days I actually worked, which I liked better, but I totally lost track. I'm pretty sure I lost a lot of days. And then for a while there, I was only counting the days I was streaming. So I lost a lot of days that way because I'm usually coding every day. I went on vacation for a couple of weeks, and even then I coded a little bit while I was gone. So it's really hard to say. So So ultimately, my goal is that this game doesn't require the internet to run. So you could go camping and just play, but you won't be able to do some things. You won't be able to play your AI leagues, but you won't be able to play like your games that you have that are sharing with other people. That stuff has to run online, so it keeps everything clean and in sync. And then it'll sync your data online as soon as you're online. That's its goal, right? So it's going to be able to function online. So my goal is to maybe even make the game be able to run 100%. You need it when you download it. You need to connect to the internet at least once so that it can download and get all the assets and stuff onto your phone, because you need the internet. You won't be able to like install it without internet. How would you do that anyway? I mean, you got to download it from Google, right? So, but you have to open it and run it at least once online, and then once you create an account, it'll download the stuff it needs, and theoretically at that point you'll have a league and you can play offline without ever coming back if you don't want to. That's like for the shareware mode, the freeware version of the game. But it doesn't require online, but it will continue to sync your data online, and as long as you have an internet connection, just so that you have it. And theoretically, if you decide to buy the PC version, which hopefully will have a little bit more features, a little bit more stuff going on, as well as provide you more stuff on your mobile device, you'll be you'll be able to link those two up, or they'll be able to connect. So anyway, that's the thought there. But right now, I just need to get past the opening screen, get everything started. So well, unless the DLL is hidden, it's saying that it's there. So let me see if I have a view here. Show. Nope, hidden items. Really? Okay, I guess I'm going back into Windows Defender. Virus and protection history. Where's that at? Protection history. Here we go. Threat quarantine. Filters. Boy, this is a severe. Yeah. Shellcode runner. Oh, I don't know what that is. That's not. Oh, that is it. Oh. Okay. Now what do? Restore it from quarantine. How do I do that? Actions. Restore. Dumb Windows. I'm not creating viruses, Windows. Stop being a butt. Stop killing my stuff. Let's go ahead and, all right, so that one, all right, let's just get rid of this. What is that one? I don't know what that is. Effect, oh, no, oh, that's, yeah, we're not going to do that one. I can't even get rid of that one. It won't let me get rid of that one. I have some old DLL names that I'm not using anymore, so. All right, let's see what happens now. Let's stop this puppy and try again. One of these is a .h file, and one of them is my DLL. But now they're both there, so that's a good thing. Progress. There's all kinds of stuff. There's so much stuff. Man, I tell you, I can see why it takes a long time for a developer before AI to, especially a single developer, creating a real game with some real stuff for the first time. Using new code, new technologies, things they've never worked with before in their lives, would take years to do what I'm doing right now. I'm only at just over a year. And the amount of things, I could just imagine all the time I'd be wasting researching, trying to figure out every little bug and error I've come to, and AI just goes, oh, it's this. I'm like, oh, okay. It says, not only does it go, oh, it's this, here, let me take care of that for you. And then it's like I wouldn't have known that was going on here. It's just vanished. I'd be like, why isn't it showing up? Because I have never experienced Windows Defender blocking me from copying files before. Now, maybe it's because it's being done through the code, and it's, you know, the code is doing the copy. It builds the file, copies it. But Defender's going, I don't know what this is. We're not going to allow that nonsense. We're not moving no DLLs to places that matter. And so you got to go into Defender and go, no, it's okay, Defender. I know what this is. It doesn't do anything to the computer other than allow me to play this freaking game. just ignore it. So here we go again. Let's see where we are. All right, what do we got here? Oh, I think we might be we're doing something a little different here. Go mobile sync. All right, so we got starting Go mobile. Let's see what we got here. Let's go all the way back. Dev, Go mobile SDK, DB path, got it. SDK initialized successfully. That's a good one. Database path, blah, blah, blah. Go mobile sync. Of course, we don't have a user ID. That's fine. We don't because we haven't created him yet. Then we go sync offline data. We're going to go localhost. All right. Sync return failure. All right, so we don't have user sync failed, but there should be some other stuff that goes on because we have like database files and so it's a new user, which I kind of get, but I don't know if this is supposed to be a failure. This should be a good place to get like app settings and anything else that we need. App startup sync, blah, blah, blah. Upload, check for authentication, which we're fine. We failed. User is not authenticated. That's true. Start button, okay, active. App loading panel. App loading panel is what triggers this thing. Yeah, we're successful. And then we go to Go Mobile SDK. All right, so that's mostly good. I do want to kind of clean this up if we can. Which is good. I think we're actually working offline. Dude, why'd that change noise? Okay. I feel like we should be able to sync some stuff out of the gate, even if the user is not authenticated. Like, this might be a good place to get the system settings. Available to All right. That said, while it works on that strategy, let's go see forward. I think we're in good shape. Let's clear this. And let's go ahead and log in. Assuming that whatever it's doing right now isn't going to trip me up. I'm going to go get my my password, which I do keep saved because I don't remember what it is. I mean, I don't know why. It's really not that complicated, but it's kind of long and it's just easier to paste it. I do need to add in keyboard navigation to this stuff though. Want to snow. I don't know what this is. Hello? Hello, hello? I don't know what that was. Probably junk mail. I should probably block it. But we'll go ahead and move on. 01-185. No, I was not born on January 1st. That's just my dummy data that I'm throwing in here. Oh, I'm already a dude. What? Oh, I just need to log in, I guess. Well, that's interesting. Why didn't it log me in? Did I not have a cookie? A token? Interesting. Huh. I don't remember logging in, or creating the account, but we'll try this. All right, what's happening? It's thinking. It looks like we may be blowing up though. No auth token available for request. User must be authenticated. No configuration found for user session, defaulting to network only. So we obviously blew up because we did not get the data we were hoping for there. Smells good. I am hungry. Yeah, I'll come up a bit. Oh, here, do you want these? I got a couple of protein bars. The caramel, salted caramel protein bars. I don't know if
want them?
I grabbed a couple of more ones, but they're a different brand.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so what time? I guess where are we? Let's see. Now this is a Go SDK change, so the DLL needs to be rebuilt, but the logic is right. All right, so we do have a couple things. I got to rebuild the SDK, which is fine. It's going to happen a lot at this stage, but we do got to get things working. So, hey, at least now you know kind of where I'm at, getting the offline stuff in place. We're slowly advancing on this. Come by, say hi, let me know what you think. Till then, till next time, God bless.